I can't think of anybody not wanting to have a tractor. I mean, how cool is it to have a tractor? But chances are you're not going to spend 10, 15, 30,000 or even more on something just because it's cool. You've got work to do on your property, and you want to make an investment that's going to be good for you now and in the future. So when you start to focus on what you need, you got to think specifically about your particular property, what you want to get done now, and what you think you might want to get done in the future. In other words, the acreage you have is important, as well as what's on that acreage. If it's already a developed piece of property, your needs are going to be tremendously different than someone who's buying property that has to be forested, where driveways have to be put in, and all that kind of stuff. The second thing then is, once you decide on those type of things, what type of implements are you going to use to work that property? Consider for a minute that a 6-foot brush hog is going to work 30% faster than a 4-foot brush hog on average. And if you've got a large piece of property that you have to brush hog, you've got to take into account how much your particular time is worth in doing that job. You don't want your life in the country to be miserable because all you're doing is riding on the tractor. Once you know what size implements that you want, then you can go to the next step in determining what size PTO horsepower you need on your tractor. The PTO horsepower is the amount of work that tractor is capable of doing at the PTO in the back of the tractor, where your drive shaft hooks up for your brush hog. So if you've got a 30 horsepower requirement on the drive shaft for the 6-foot brush hog, you're going to need a tractor that will put out that much PTO horsepower. Don't think about engine horsepower. You could have a 39 horsepower tractor that puts out 30. You could have another one that's 42 horsepower and putting out only 30. So focus on PTO horsepower, and that will get you focusing on the work that you can do. The next thing to think about is, how will you use your loader? Will you use it a lot? Will you use the bucket on the loader? What type of work are you going to do with it? Now, if you're going to use the bucket on the loader and you're going to be doing it a lot, then that might also dictate the type of transmission you want on the tractor. Because if you're doing a lot of loader work, a hydrostatic transmission might make a lot of sense. Whereas if you're just doing cutting in the field for most of the time, a manual transmission might make the most sense of all. What kind of footprint do you have available to you to store your tractor? Hopefully you'll be able to store it in a lean-to or in a barn that you can secure, and not just out in the weather. If you're going to be storing it inside a facility, you have to take into account door height, for instance. If it's not going to be a real tall door and you're going to fold down the ROPS, you may be wanting to think about how easy it's going to be to fold down a ROPS on a particular tractor that you're looking at. More than that also is the size of the tractor when the bucket is put in the down position. Many different tractors have different lengths based on the size of the loader on the front of it, and some of them are designed to fit into more compact spots than others. Once you have these basic pieces of knowledge put together, you can begin visiting tractor dealers and getting salespeople's opinions as to what their product would be that would best suit your particular applications. You'll be well on your way to buying the perfect tractor for your needs. And if you want to learn more tips from the pros, check out this playlist up above.